compelled to get involved because I think that a lot of people are missing the issue involving Josh Giddey to begin with. Josh Giddey is being investigated for allegedly messing with an underage girl.
Welcome to another episode. To our regular viewers, thank you for the support. We really appreciate. To our new viewers, don't forget to like and subscribe. Our target is only 1,000 likes. So come on guys, let's like the video. So Stephen Smith had plenty to say about fans dissing him for staying silent on Josh Giddey, the Oklahoma City Thunder star, who has been accused of having an improper relationship with the minor. ESPN's Malika has also been criticized for holding back on Giddey, but Stephen A finally had enough. He recently reacted to the whole story, defending his colleague Malika and also directly responding to Dez Bryant, the former NFL wide receiver. Last week, the NBA announced that it was investigating allegations that Josh Giddey, a 21-year-old guard from Australia, had an inappropriate relationship with an underage girl after photos surfaced online. So that we're all on the same page, let's listen to what Stephen A. Smith said. And as you continue watching, please don't hesitate to share your take on the whole story. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.
And protecting my colleagues, but in the same breath, I'm also big on minding my own damn business when it's called upon to do so. And I'm certainly not trying to deviate from that in this particular situation, but there's a subject that I think demands participation from people in this industry, including myself. And that is this subject that's involving ESPN host Malika Andrews. Now, for those of you who may not know, and it's very few in the sports world who don't know at this particular moment in time, she's been getting some major heat, in particular from former NFL wide receiver Dez Bryant for ignoring the situation involving or surrounding NBA player Josh Giddey of the Oklahoma City Thunder and the accusations of him having an inappropriate relationship with an underage girl. First things first. Before I get even any further, let me tell you what Dez Bryant had to say. Let me read that quote to you right now. Dez Bryant tweets, Malika Andrews, you went out of your way to crucify Brandon Miller, the #2 overall pick of the Charlotte Hornets on draft day, over something he didn't even do, wrote Bryant. Why haven't you said nothing about Josh Giddey? I advise you not to make this a black or white thing. Your parents really raised you wrong, and just because you went to a private school don't make you better. You appeal, and I know you're kind. You're just a puppet. I don't know how a former or current NBA player could sit there across from you and look at you with some kind of respect. Let me say this. Dez Bryant, I miss him. I miss Dez Bryant because I loved watching him as a wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys for those 8 years he was there before he suffered that injury and came back and tried to resume his career in Baltimore, and that didn't work out. I respect you, my brother, but that was a bit extreme. You see, without trying to get too involved in it, I feel compelled to get involved because I think that a lot of people are missing the issue involving Josh Giddey to begin with. Josh Giddey is being investigated for allegedly messing with an underage girl. We don't know the facts. And because we don't know the facts and we represent a network, we have to make sure I's are dotted and T's are crossed before we provide commentary to that. The investigation is ongoing by the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunder refuses to comment on it. Josh Giddey refuses to comment on it. And as a result, all we can keep doing is reminding everybody the brother being investigated. He's from Australia. He's being investigated for messing with an underage girl. That's problematic. And the NBA is investigating because next thing you know, they may take some heat because people may be asking them, what are you going to do about it? If this was the National Football League, chances are he would be put on a commissioner's exempt list where he wouldn't be allowed to play until the investigation was complete. So getting on Malika Andrews about this, I believe, is off kilter. And it's a bit extreme. Bringing up her parents, her upbringing, some private school education. Come on, Dez. What if she brought up your stuff? Come on, bro. It's not necessary. And the reason why this is a big subject to have is because I think that we need to do a better job of picking our battles. Malika Andrews is a colleague of mine. There's no question about that. We got into our little tussle on the air after the Ime Udoka situation, or as that was brewing. She came at me in a certain way. I checked the situation the way I felt it needed to be checked. We had a conversation. Later, she apologized. I accepted her apology because I'm a human being and I make mistakes too. But we got folks coming at her all the time with death threats and other threats and all of this stuff. Why? Why? Let's talk about Brandon Miller for a second. I wish this brother nothing but the best. He can play, by the way. Was a star at Alabama last year. No problem with that. He was the -- 2 overall pick on draft night. In the National Basketball Association, he was going to be the #2 pick of the Charlotte Hornets. The city of Charlotte is considered the Bible Belt. What was his crime? There was no crime, because the police in Alabama said they had nothing to arrest him on. But what was later learned is that last year sometime, in February before February, he drove a car that had a gun in it that his teammate ultimately got out of the back seat, handed to somebody else, and they ended up killing a 23-year-old young lady who is the mother of a 5-year-old child. And those two individuals, his teammate, Brandon Miller's teammate, and the person that he handed the gun to, were arrested and indicted on capital murder charges. When Brandon Miller showed up in South Carolina, you'd have thought he was Hillary Clinton. They were screaming, "Lock him up, lock him up, lock him up." How in God's name does Malika Andrews not ask that question on draft night? She had to. I'm telling you, me or any other reporter that was in that situation has an obligation to ask a team, an NBA official, or somebody about that question. There is no wiggle room around it. If she hadn't asked that question, the bosses would have been wondering why she had that job. If I was sitting in her chair and I didn't ask that question, since after all he was the #2 overall pick and he was getting drafted and all of this residue was just months removed, I would have been asked, why do I have my job? That goes for any journalist. So we have to take that into consideration. It's not about protecting Malika Andrews. It's about protecting the industry. It's about understanding and making you understand what comes along with this job. You keep thinking we have choices. We don't always have choices. You have to ask those questions. Now, there does come a point in time where you can stop. You don't have to bring up stuff from years earlier. That's true. But in the Brandon Miller situation, that was not the case. In this Josh Giddey situation, because the situation is so sensitive, you can't go on the air with a strong opinion, sounding accusatory, as if you're indicting someone when an investigation is still open. And neither the league, nor the team, nor Giddey himself, nor the alleged underage person is speaking on the issue. We don't know. We don't know. So in the end, Dez Bryant, and to the Dez Bryants out there, what I'm going to say is, mad respect for Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant is somebody we enjoyed as an NFL player. He could ball. He's a good dude. His heart's in the right place. And what he's really, really pointing to is the fact that as black men, sometimes we get a heavy hammer while others get treated considerably with a lighter hand. That offends us. That takes us aback. We don't like it. That's true. Malika Andrews is not guilty of that in this situation. She was not guilty of that in the Brandon Miller situation. And when you imply that she is, your argument falls on deaf ears because those who know better know not to take you seriously if you accuse her of that, because that means you don't know. And if you don't know and you're not taken seriously because your opinions are being dismissed because you don't have all the facts to support your position, when you really have something to say down the line, no one's going to listen. That is what we're talking about guarding ourselves against when we talk about issues. Make sure you're always in a position where you have at least some strong facts to support your argument. That way it always has potency. Because when it has potency, folks won't have any choice but to listen. Then you'll be heard. And then what you say will matter. Just something to think about. Just something to think about. Your calls right here on the...
What do you think about this? Please drop a comment. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Thank you.